Oh my God, lesbians learning applicable skills to get back at their exes.
Where do the quiet gays? Where are the quiet gays supposed to go?
Oh my God, how are you? How was your trip? How are you feeling? All the things.
My trip was incredible. I'm still a little sicky. I felt better for a couple days and then I went to work and work kicked my little butt. But yeah.
Oh, do you have the weekend off?
Yeah. So my girlfriend's fostering a dog for the weekend.
So,
And
so cute.
oh my gosh, she's so cute. She's so cute and she's so good. She
Sorry,
was
she, her pronouns.
she was a little riled up about being in a new place overnight.
Or,
So, we didn't sleep very much.
oh, it's like having a newborn.
Yeah. But she's so snuggly, and I took her to a coffee shop this morning, and when I tell you there was chaos galore happening in this place, and she was so calm and just laid down on my feet and didn't like get involved in any of it.
Oh,
Yeah. Any other dog, I swear, would have been right in the mix because there were a bunch of unleashed dogs running around the coffee shop.
okay.
Um,
I hate unleashed dogs. I mean, I love the dogs. It's just the owners because I'm like, but you don't, your dog might be fine, but someone else's dog might not be. Like,
right.
leave, please.
And then this one man was talking on the phone and he got handed his coffee. He had two drinks in like a cardboard carrier.
Uh-huh.
And he picked it up and whipped around so fast that the drinks just flew out of the carrier and spilled. And it was a small coffee shop. And so when they hit the floor, they exploded over the entire floor, like three
Oh,
quarters of the floor of the coffee shop. Um,
stop.
yeah. And another dog tried to get in it and lick it up, and it got all over a man that was standing there. And my little pup didn't even move. I'm
Oh,
like,
good.
wow.
She's such a good baby. Oh my
Yeah.
God, you sent me that video today and I was like almost crying because she's so cute and I want a
Oh,
dog.
so cute. So cute.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. How are you?
Oh, I've just been working and there's a COVID outbreak at my job. I'm negative, thank God, but it's like a whole thing. I get
Yikes.
to like do isolation precautions in like so many different people's rooms right now because I still have to go see them and like
Mm-hmm.
say hi, which I love doing. Don't get me wrong. I love, especially because they're like in isolation. And so
Yeah.
they don't like see anyone except like the nurses and stuff who don't have time to chit chat. And I just go in there and I chit chat. I just yap
Mm-hmm.
with them. And like my one of my favorite residents is in isolation precaution right now. And she's the sweetest. And every time I come in, she's like, oh, yay. Like, I'm glad you're here. Come talk to me. And she's like, I miss being out there with all my friends. And she said, I miss looking at you. And I was like, that's so cute.
Oh,
Ugh. So it's frustrating too, because I'm like, I know that like our tests kind of suck right now. And so
yes.
people that are clearly sick are coming up negative. So they are just out and about getting
Mhm.
everyone else sick. And I'm just like, ah. But
Yeah.
other than that, I'm good. I'm almost finished with my CNA training and stuff. So I test in like a week and a half on the 27th. I guess
Oh,
that's,
wow.
yeah. So I'll be done and then I'll be working full time, which is going to be fun for my bank account.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm getting my hair done tomorrow and
What are you doing?
I don't know. Whatever. So part of me doesn't want to be blonde anymore because you already know I feel like what I'm going to say, but everyone keeps saying I look like Megan Trainor and I want to die. I would literally want to die. Ugh. So I don't know if I want to go, if I want to be blonde anymore. So I might go back to my red or maybe like a different blonde. I'm gonna let my amazing hairstylist decide for me, like I have done for the past 8 years.
There you go.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll be brunette.
Wild card.
I know. We'll see tomorrow. Well, if we go out tomorrow after I get my hair done, we'll post a picture. But okay, we are back at our recap, everyone. Welcome back to Lesbian Book Club, the podcast. And we are on to our season 1, episode 4 of the L Word because I still am a slow reader and I'm not there yet. So we Haley's just gonna laugh at me. What did you think of this episode? Hold on. Because Holland Taylor is in this episode, and please tell me you know who Holland Taylor is.
That sounds so familiar. I know the name, but I just don't know why. And
What
I
if I
can't
say-
tell you who that was in this episode.
Shut up. What if I say she's Sarah Paulson's partner?
Okay, yep, that would make sense.
Okay.
Is she Patsy?
Peggy?
Peggy?
Oh my God, was the dog taking all your attention?
No, I just wait. What the heck is this woman's name? I'm
Her
thinking
name is
like,
Peggy Peabody.
oh, Peabody. I'm like Patsy Peppermint. I don't.
Oh yeah. Honestly, same energy. But I love Holland Taylor. I just find her like, what is the like adjective for enamored? If you want to describe somebody as like enamoring. Maybe this is why I like older women too.
Holland Taylor is your type.
No. I think she's like so classy and she's like an acting legend. And for them, and she also was like never out. Wasn't ever out until like she came out with Sarah Paulson, even though she's been like a lesbian forever. And so I don't think she came out till like her like 60s. And so
Okay.
for her to be in the L Word, well, I guess she was in the L Word, but was she out? I think it was like an if you know, you know situation.
Yeah, like girl, you don't gotta say it. Just be
I know.
you.
I
Just do your
know.
thing.
I know. And so, yeah, I low key forgot that she was in this, but then I didn't because there's another character. Her Peggy Peabody's daughter becomes a long-term character on the show.
Okay.
So I was really excited that she was in it. And this is actually one of my episodes that like I can remember and talk about, specifically the Bette storyline. I just like it so much, especially like being somebody who really loves art, the whole art storyline with Bette and like being so taken with like a photo or with a piece of art. I don't know. For some reason, it just like seared in my brain and I love it.
Yeah, that was a really nice moment.
I know.
It's like yesterday.
Say it. Whatever you were going to say it.
Last night, I was an emotional disaster.
Oh.
I cried 3 different times. So I haven't watched The Bear.
Oh my God, I love The Bear.
So yeah, that's what everyone's been saying. And my girlfriend's been watching The Bear. And so we watched whatever episode she was on.
Yeah.
And I like have no context for this. It's like the middle of the show, whatever. And I sobbed 3 different times in the episode. Like could not get it together. And we get done with it and she's like, so what about that hit you so hard?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's such a sweet question.
And then we go up to walk the dog and there were snails on the roof.
Oh, that's gonna make you cry, isn't it?
So, first I took a minute-long video of a snail, and then about 5 minutes later, we're walking and I hear a crunch.
No.
Yeah, and instantly I start sobbing. Just on the ground, like literally on the sidewalk on the ground, sobbing in the dark.
What part of your cycle are you on?
I'm not bleeding.
Okay. Well, welcome to my life of tears.
Yeah, no, seriously. I was literally on the ground on the sidewalk in the dark, sobbing.
Oh,
And it took me so
Haley.
long. Luckily, Mr. Snail survived. I did chip his shell. I feel so terrible about it, but
He
he
survived?
he was okay. Yeah, his snail or his shell was like intact. It just had like a chip in it. Um,
That's crazy.
I know, really sturdy shell that this guy has. But
Okay.
so when I finally got myself together enough to like stand up and remember that I had surroundings, I looked over and she is sitting on the sidewalk with the dog next to her waiting for me to be done.
I was just gonna say, what was she doing during it? Well, good. And she was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, you ready to go home?
Oh my God.
It was residual the bear crying though.
Well, I'd only cried once at the bear at that point, and then we took a break to take the dog potty and then came back and I cried 2 more times at the bear.
Oh my God, Haylie. Oh, I have so much empathy for you in that because, like, I, again, am a crier. So I'm like, yeah, I get it. It would just send you, and it's okay. Then you cry and then you're done and you feel better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I was down over the edge. So yeah, then the episode of the bear gets done and I was like, I can't handle another one. We're done.
yeah, no. Like, turn on the L word. I know I won't cry at that right now. Right now.
Yeah, and I did not. I didn't cry
Good
in
job,
this
Haylie.
episode. Thank you.
No, I don't think I did either. Okay, well, let's get into it. So we open up with what I put in my notes as the artist opening. And there's a woman, we don't know who she is. She's taking a nude photos, not like nudes, but like actual artistic photos of this woman. And we find out a lot more about this context later, but it's just like a really cool opening, I thought, because it leaves you going with like, what the heck? How is this going to be like involved? I don't know. That's how what I
Mhm.
always thought.
Yeah, especially because once she takes the photo, she starts kissing on this woman, like on her naked body, and then goes down and is
Hmm.
out of frame. And I'm like, oh, that's not a typical photographer model relationship.
Exactly. Oh yeah. At first I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, I got scared, and then later on, I was like, oh, okay.
Okay. And the funny thing about that is at the time, I don't think people got that feeling. I only think now, like hindsight, that we're like, oh, maybe this is wrong. But it does seem like these two had a consensual relationship. So
Yeah,
we'll just leave it at that.
yeah.
Okay. And then we go to back to our main characters, and Alice and Gabby obviously had a sleepover, and I literally hate Gabby so much. But Alice also, like, get it together. Stop being like vagina struck.
She defends Gabby so hard.
Yeah, Gabby's just like the worst. I don't have anything else to say about her.
Well, she opens this thing with, Alice, didn't you set the alarm? And
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
yes, you snoozed it. Like, girl, it's not my fault. You're gonna be late to work.
And then
Get your shit
Alice,
together.
she still apologizes for it.
Yeah, and then Alice is like, she's changed, she's happier. Meanwhile, Gabby's like, I have to go to my piece of shit work. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and I'm like, that's not a happy person to me.
No.
And honestly, it is miserable to spend your time around someone that is just like chronically unhappy
Yeah. Oh, for
and
sure.
like hates everything.
Hmm.
And that kind of seems to be Gabby.
Yeah, and Gabby's just like a fuck boy too, because we find out that Shane saw her with this girl Nadia, like making out. I'm like, I don't know if they had like a conversation, Gabby and Alice, but Alice seems to be under the impression that Gabby wouldn't be like seeing other people. Alice and Shane and Bette and Tina, they all meet up. Is there anyone else there? Is Dana there when they meet up at the coffee shop?
Mm, I can't remember if Dana was there.
I did have a note in here that said Haylie is exactly like Dana at some point.
You always say that.
I know. You are. It's so cute. Um, but yeah, so they're like trying to convince Alice that she needs to dump Gabby and like move on because Gabby just doesn't treat her well. Like
Mhm.
doesn't treat her how she should deserve to be treated. And they come up with this hilarious speech. And I can't believe that Alice said it word for word to
She did.
Gabby.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
The line, like telling someone to their face that they are an emotional cripple, incapable of knowing true love, is so insane.
And then to say, step off, bitch. I was dying. I thought it was so funny. I was like, I don't think they were telling you to say the exact thing, Alice, but like something along those lines. And then she's just like, no, if I don't say the exact thing, I'm not going to do it. So thank you.
Yeah, well, because she can't like think for herself in this particular
No,
situation.
I get
She
it.
can't like see, she can see through her rose-colored glasses,
Yep,
and then she can see what her friends are verbatim saying to her. And
exactly.
that's it. So she had to
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah, because she's like almost doesn't even believe it.
Mhm.
Like herself. She's just trusting like her friends and being like, listen, this girl sucks and you need to get rid of her.
Yeah, I think that
Ugh,
it was enough. Like she hit enough points at the point where she had that conversation with Gabby. Especially,
yeah.
I did not like the way that Gabby wrote her off at the club where she was like, "Oh, I was hoping that it could be just us." And she was like, "Oh, it can be just us when we're dead."
I know, like basically telling Alice, like, you'll never have me. Sorry.
Mhm.
It's the worst.
Yeah, and so I think she finally just got that owie feeling in her stomach enough to be like, okay, yep, let's word vomit this.
Yeah. And it's also true. Like, you're not going to see it, but when someone points it out to you, you're like more aware of the things that actually like are no-goes when before you're like, oh, actually, this is fine. Like with those rose-colored glasses, like you were saying. And then when someone points it out to you, it's like when you have like when you stub your toe or like you stub your pinky toe and then you hit it on everything because
Yep.
you're like hyper aware of it. I feel like
Uh-huh.
that's what happened to Alice because she's just like, I can't ignore this anymore when everyone else sees it.
She also, she before made that comment at the coffee shop with her friend. She's like, I know that it looks like she treats me like shit, and everyone thinks that she treats me like shit, but trust me. And it's like, okay, if the perception of everybody is that she treats you like shit, then probably there's some truth to that. And then she finally gets enough of it that she's like, oh, yes, indeed. There is truth.
Oh, I literally put in there too, like you were saying. I said she said it word for word, an emotional cripple without the capacity for true love. I have that written down like word for word. And then just like laughing emojis next to it. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, and then what Gabby said to Alice was so brutal. She was like, but I think you should know, Alice, this is not a good move for someone like you. Everyone knows you're desperate. You're not going to bounce back from something like this. And then walks out the door, and Alice, bless her, does not turn around and do what would have been the desperate thing and be like, wait, come back.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. If you're called desperate, you have to literally act not desperate, even if you are.
Yeah, which is what Gabby wanted her to do.
Oh yeah. But also that should be like hopefully the nail in the coffin for her because what a horrible person to be like, this person is telling me that I make them feel terrible. And my reaction is going to be like, peace. Sorry, you suck.
Mhm.
Like, how awful.
Really a looking glass into the kind of person that Gabby is, like that really quick retaliation
Yeah.
when she's rejected.
Yeah.
Clearly there's a lot of insecurity there.
Oh,
And she's
100%.
probably not used to getting rejected, especially by somebody that she perceives as like not being as cool as she is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like to her, she's just above Alice in whatever way. And so when Alice is the one who rejects her, it like absolutely flips the power dynamic in her mind upside down. And
Yeah.
now the only way for her to regain her step up is to lash out and say something really awful to Alice.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a cartoonish caricature of somebody that's narcissistic. Like 100% Gabby had like I'm sure if this was shot today, Tina and Bette and Shane would have been calling her a narcissist. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because the way she just turned, like she's incapable of seeing her faults or how she has made anyone else feel.
mm-hmm.
It really sucks. And then the thing that I think was really good for Alice to do is she like has her chart up and she connects Gabby to Nadia on the chart. And I felt like that was like a little bit of closure, like fingers crossed
Yeah, for
that that was
sure.
like I'm going to put this out there and so if I go back everyone's going to know that I'm desperate and dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that was definitely it's that's like the same thing as telling your mom that somebody wronged you.
Yes. Oh my God. Or your sister, because I literally still hate my sister's high school on and again, off again boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that guy
Yeah.
so much. And there's nothing he could do. I mean, like, we don't have contact with him anymore, but there is nothing he could do that could ever make me feel okay about him.
Oh, yeah. There's the I can't be friends with so many people that my sister does not like because
Yeah.
I'm scared. Um, but one thing that shifts us into another storyline, I think, is Gabby and Nadia bring in one of the posters of Shane, and Alice has a very clear facial reaction to this. And I think that this was also one of her moments of being like, oh, maybe I don't like Gabby that much because she's making fun of my friend.
Yeah. What did she say about Shane? I don't remember.
Well, she just said like, "Oh, looks like Shane fucked with the wrong crazy bitch."
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but they were all laughing. Her
I
like
know.
Gabby and her friends, and that Alice was not laughing, and she had this look on her face that she was kind of like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
Um, and Shane is obviously her best friend, and Shane is a really, really, really good friend. And she was a really good friend in the previous episodes that we've talked about. And she is
Yeah.
such a good friend in this episode to Alice, telling her about Gabby and Nadia, and also just being there to talk to Alice about Gabby.
Yeah.
But also, she was a really good friend to Marina and Jenny by
Oh.
when Alice was kind of pestering Shane for information about Marina and Jenny. She was like, sorry, can't tell you how,
Yeah.
you know? That's her
Yeah.
best friend. And she's like,
I think
mm,
you're right. I think you're right with the like extra nails in the coffin for Gabby because they're saying complete opposite things about like not opposite things like directly, but like it's an opposite person thing. And Alice has to pick,
yeah,
right? Like, and not that Shane was forcing her to pick, but it's just kind of like a moral thing where it's like, I can't be around this person if they're going to be like this. So, yeah.
yeah.
So then Lacey and Shane, oh dear God.
Ah, the re-entanglement was torturous
It was
to
so bad,
watch.
right? Let me pull
Yeah.
up. I gotta pull up my. Okay. I just typed in Lacey and Shane encounter. Oh, so Shane confronts Lacey about the flyers. And Lacey is like trying to be all hard. She's like, yeah, I learned Photoshop. And I literally typed, oh my God, lesbians learning applicable skills to get back at their exes. And I was like, that's pretty canon because you got to get back somehow. And look, she learned Photoshop. She's probably going to use that.
True.
But I thought that was so funny because it just like dates the show so much. Like I learned Photoshop and it didn't even look like Photoshop. It looked like bad word art and like a
Hmm.
scanner.
Yeah. Lacey, has severe abandonment issues.
I know.
And
I mean, she literally says it.
mm-hmm. And the way that Shane responds, the first part I thought was just so, so sweet. Because
I know.
Shane was like, Lacey, hold on, like, okay, let's talk about and Shane was so kind. Shane could have
I don't
freaked
know.
out at her.
Okay. Okay. I do think Shane was kind, but I also think that Shane has like serious avoidant of any type of negative emotions behavior coming from
Yep.
anyone because she's just like, I just have to, in the short term, make this stop. I can't watch this girl
True.
cry. I like because I'm uncomfortable, right? So what am I gonna do to make her happy right this second? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
that's such a cop out. And I don't think Shane had the tools to handle it because she's young and immature and hasn't like grown. But I also think that's like damaging to both people. Both of them are
Oh, yeah.
damaging each other.
No, I don't think that it was kind to get back with Lacey
Yeah.
and
No, it wasn't.
to yeah, I don't think it was kind to kiss her and to say like, "Oh, I'm not going anywhere," and to hook up with her because
Ugh.
those are all promises that Shane cannot and will not keep and gave Lacey like temporary relief but is just going to end up hurting her more and making this more of a thing.
Exactly.
I thought that Shane was really kind in like the first half of that interaction in the way that she approached it.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right that like when it started to get too uncomfortable for her, then yeah, she deflected to, oh, okay, yes, let me just do whatever you want me to do. Which totally not don't do that, Shane.
Oh, yeah.
Stop. I was like
I'm
yelling at my screen, stop, stop.
you're like yelling at your screen and I'm writing down this is a classic anxious avoidant attachment issue that we're having here. Because it really is. It's like one has severe abandonment issue. And this is like a very extreme case, obviously. They both have abandonment issues, but they like flesh out so differently. And Lacey's just like clinging on to Shane, and Shane's like,
Mhm,
ah, this makes me so uncomfortable. So
mhm.
yeah, it's I can't believe Shane fucked her.
this this just is a disaster waiting to happen.
And then, of course, like after they hook up, Lacey says something like, I love being with you, or something like that. I forget what she says. And Shane doesn't even say anything. She
Mm-hmm.
like just grabs her clothes, like gets dressed, and then is like, you said you wouldn't do this, or something
It
like
was
that.
so uncomfortable.
And then just and Lacey just nods. Lacey's like, yep, I fucked it up, didn't I? And then Shane just leaves. And like that's the end of Lacey. Like it's it's a really good introduction to Shane though. I feel like you learn a lot about Shane in these first 4 episodes. You learn a lot about her and how she is like with romantic interests, and then you also learn a lot about her as a friend.
Mm,
And those two are like polar opposites of the spectrum. Like she's an incredible friend but a shitty lover. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
she's not
it's
a shitty lover.
crawling in
She's
my
very
skin.
good, but she's not a good person to like attach to.
No.
Oh yeah, I could see you like crawling in your skin over this.
Yeah. Uh Also when Lacey was like, well, what did she have that I didn't? And Shane's like, nothing. And she's like, well, did you like fucking her better than me? And then there's like this prolonged silence, and I was like, don't answer that. Don't answer
Yeah.
that.
Or
Because
just say no. Who know? Who cares? Say
well,
no.
but like if she says no, then Lacey's using that as ammunition of like, well, then why didn't you stay?
Yeah.
And then if she says yes, then that's the wrong answer, you know? It's like, oh, there is no winning.
No,
Like,
there's no winning.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
This is an impossible situation.
Yeah. Speaking of impossible situations, I feel like do we shift to Bette and talk about her
Yep.
freaking job and this whole storyline? Bette's job, she's the curator, and she basically comes with this incredible presentation about this show that she wants to put in the gallery called Provocations. And it's really out there and it's like really provoking. It's very like sexual and has a lot of like historical and religious undertones to it. It's really cool. It's a really cool show. And her boss is like, nah, no thanks. We're going to do impressions for the winter. And the only thing I could think about was Miranda Priestley going, florals for spring, groundbreaking. That's like all I could think about during that part. But he basically steamrolls her and says, I've already booked the impressions. So thanks for the presentation, but we're not going that way. Bette is pissed, obviously. And then she goes and unbooks the impressions and tries to set up a meeting with Peggy Peabody, who is the person who's in charge of this collection. And she can't get a meeting with Peggy. So she just goes to Santa Barbara because she hears that she is staying there. And I love the mix up of identities that happens. And Bette ends up in Peggy Peabody's suite because Peggy thinks that she is someone else who she has a meeting with. But while she's in the room, Peggy checks her messages and is like, that lady canceled. And she's like, so who the hell are you? And Bette's like, oh, I'm Bette Porter. I'm the museum director or the museum curator for the CAC. And like Peggy's like kind of rude. She's kind of like, oh yeah, that like minuscule, tiny little museum in LA. She's like, well, yeah, but provocations could like put us on the map. And they just go through this whole thing. And Peggy's basically like, sorry, I can't do it. But they start talking about Kandinsky. And then they start talking about, lo and behold, the artist whose name escapes me from the beginning of the show. And that is how that is all rolled up together. And they have this beautiful experience. And Peggy Peabody apparently has been on an art buying spree and has spent like $6 million. And she has bought that photo that artist that we saw take in the beginning. And we find out that this artist has been photographing the same woman for like almost 2 decades, I want to say, if not more.
12 years.
12 years. Thank you. I thought it was 17 for some reason, but 12 years. And I love what Bette said, because she said, you know, just the art of looking at someone for like 12 years. I don't know. There's a reason I'm in love with Bette, and I'm going to say it every episode, but I just love her. I love the way she sees the world. She's like a romantic at heart. She's going to be horrible, but she is a romantic. Okay. Okay. I'm convincing myself of this person. But anyway, she ends up not getting the show, but we are introduced to Peggy Peabody, who becomes a character in the show. So let's talk about it. What stood out to you? What did you think as a first-time viewer of this situation?
I was really frustrated for Bette because, first of all, they hire her to do a specific job. And they have her put all of this time and effort into setting up meetings and putting together this presentation and having this like conference meeting to give the presentation and all of this, and listen to the entire thing. And then at the end, they're like, oh, that's great and all, but we're just going to do the same exact thing that we've done for like 5 or 6 years in a row because that's safe.
Right.
And they hired her to switch it up and like change the direction of the museum. So they wanted her to come in and do a thing, but now they're actively working against her doing that thing. And he went behind her back too and just wasted her time. Probably didn't help her professional relationships with the people that she's trying to source the art from and the other curators that she's talking to. And
yeah, he really undermined her like authority. And she even was like, well, why am I here then? What did you hire me for? If you're just gonna book the things, that's literally my job.
Yeah,
that's really
frustrating. So frustrating. He made her really small.
And you do not make Bette Porter small. You just can't. Like, she's just too big of a personality. It pissed me off.
You don't put baby in a corner.
That's right. That's my baby.
But yeah, I just really felt for her. Then I also was like, okay, yeah, Bet, when she just took the initiative and had that fire under her ass to be like, screw it, I'm canceling Impressions in Winter and I'm gonna go try and get it myself. And like, what a risk.
Oh
What
my
a risk.
God.
That
Yeah.
could make her lose her job. That could ruin her reputation in her entire like career field. And also, what a huge risk to drive to Santa Barbara and show up where Patty Peabody. What the
Peggy.
hell is her name? Peggy.
Peggy.
Where Peggy Peabody is staying and then follow her into her room. Like, holy smokes. What
Okay.
nerve.
But also, I have to say that when Bet had that fire under her ass, Tina thought she was so hot.
Yeah, she
Tina, when
did.
I was like, I know that feeling. Again, I'm a mix of Alice and Tina, but I know that feeling when like like your partner is like gung ho on something. It's so attractive. Oh my God. Yeah, I could say so
Tina
much
was an
about that.
art wag.
Oh my God. Yes.
She's
Oh.
like, go, baby.
Yeah, she's like, yes, baby. You didn't talk to me at all about leaving or just ditching me, but you know what? It's fine. But oh my God, no. I literally was like, Tina is so turned on right now as Bette's leaving. It was so funny. That's something that I really like about Laurel Holloman is how she played this character, how she played Tina. I feel like she just fully committed and was like, okay, this is who I am. And I feel like they're like similar. Well, I feel like Laurel Holloman is similar to her character. I don't think that Jennifer Beals is similar to Bette, but anyway, so yeah, they go up to the hotel room and I wrote down a quote where Holland Taylor was like, "Oh, you're the lesbian museum director. I was a lesbian in 1974. That's all I needed." And the
Mm-hmm.
thing that gets Peggy on Bette's side and like is that Bette cracks a joke and says, "Oh, that's what we call a has-been." And Peggy like pauses for a really long time and then just starts laughing and is like, "Want a drink?"
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's what I'm saying. I love Holland Taylor just is incredible. She's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I loved that. It was so good. Okay, I love Mrs. Peabody. Before she knew
There you go. Call her
who,
Mrs. Peabody so you don't forget her first name.
yeah, before she knew who Bet was, and she was just going on and on about Jose,
Oh
her
yeah.
helper guy, and about how he's in love, so she sent him to go be in love for a day at the sea because she thinks that all lovers should see the sea. I think people in love should see the sea, is what she says. And I'm like, oh, I love this old woman.
And then she calls for him 2 minutes later. She's like, Jose. And
Yeah,
Bet's like, I think he has the night off.
yeah, I think he's at sea. Oh yeah. But oh my gosh, and then they are just so funny together talking.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And then
I can't wait for you to find out about Peggy's daughter and what happens because it's so funny. Oh my God.
but I think what really okay, here's my prediction.
Oh, okay.
I feel like okay, Bet asked Mrs. Peabody for provocations to go to the CAC.
Hmm.
And she said, "No, I can't undermine this woman like that. Like I hired her to do a job. That wouldn't feel good." Which is
Right.
so ironic considering what just happened to Bet. So I
I know.
feel like Mrs. Peabody really gained a respect for Bet in the way that she watched Bet react to and talk about art in this evening together.
Yeah.
And so I feel like either what's going to happen is Bet is going to get back to the CAC and that photograph is going to show up for her gallery,
Oh, okay.
or Mrs. Peabody is going to hire Bet.
Oh, okay.
But the like what you were talking about is when they're talking about the photographs,
Yeah,
and it's the woman who has been photographing her for 12 years. And when I found out that she's dead,
I know.
oh my gosh, I got this really eerie feeling where I was like, oh my gosh, I just watched a dead woman kissing another dead woman. Or no, I just watched a dead woman kissing another woman. And like, I couldn't shake this feeling. But then I was like, okay, the act of looking and re-seeing just to try to get to the truth of someone. Oh,
But we didn't cry. We didn't cry.
no, but it's so beautiful and wonderful and true.
I
It's so
know.
true. And then they talk about Stendhal syndrome.
Yeah, that's what I wrote down too.
Hmm. And I thought that it was so interesting. So, Stendhal syndrome is when Stendhal was an art critic and he saw a piece that moved him so deeply that he had to look up at the ceiling and just have all of these feelings just wash over him, and he cried and cried.
Yeah.
And
They
um,
said that they underwent the most profound feeling of ecstasy I've ever encountered. He couldn't withstand the effect and my typing is not good. I don't know what the rest was. But yes, exactly. Continue. But I just like the idea of can't withstand the effect of your own feelings.
mhm,
I just found that really beautiful.
yeah. And they overlaid Mrs. Peabody talking about the Stendhal effect on the scene of Jenny walking to Marina in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So let's talk about that because boy, Jenny is just this first season with Jenny, she is just going through it. So Jenny wakes up and she gets out of bed and she comes back and she kisses Tim on the cheek. And to me, I'm going to tell you how like I interpreted the scene because of like the expressions on Jenny's face and like her body language. I wrote down like I felt like when she was at the door, she was remembering the type of love that she had for Tim. And like, I loved you once, and I'm trying to remember and bring all of that back into my memory before everything changed. And so she like goes and kisses him on the cheek, like, I do love you. Like, she's still trying, not that she doesn't love him, but she's still trying to convince herself that like this is going to be okay. And this is like what I want, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and then she goes full goth mode and goes to talk to Marina.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like that jacket she was wearing?
Yeah, I did. I would do that too.
You would do that. You
Yeah.
absolutely would do that. You're like, I must get in character.
I coined something called the Rat Girl Walk.
Of course you did.
Yeah, and it's where basically you dress like that and you let your toes hang out and you put your head down, hood up, and your arms behind you, and
Yeah,
you
I'm
walk
gonna
hunched over, and
I'm gonna have you
basically
recreate this for our
like
stories.
you're the scary dog. You know when you're walking
Oh,
and
uh-huh.
you have like a scary dog to protect you. No, you're the scary dog.
Haylie, I
Yeah.
hate to break this to you, but you are not scary.
When I walk like this, I am. I don't look all the way sane.
That's probably true.
Mhm.
Um,
Don't I know it?
so Jenny confronts Marina and she says to her, I thought she said something really heartbreaking because she's so honest and like raw all the time because she's a Pisces. And she said, I can't be around you anymore. It's confusing to me and makes me feel insane.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, if that is not what it feels like to be in a straight relationship and to find out that you actually like women, because you literally feel like you're going insane because your whole life feels like a lie, and you have so much like regret and like, you know what I mean? You just have all these feelings and you're like, I wish I could just like not have this happen, you know?
Yeah.
But for her to be like, I just can't be around you. It scares me and it makes me feel crazy, you know?
Yeah.
It's so sad.
It is. She also says that she feels safe with Tim for the first time in her entire life, which there's a whole psyche thing that we could dissect here about that
Yeah.
of like if you've never felt safe in your life and all of a sudden you do, a lot of people's reactions to that would be to like try and destroy the thing that is making you feel safe because you're not used to it, and like what you are used to is chaos and stuff. And
Right.
um so I mean there's that part that you could look at and be like, well, is that true for Jenny? Which Marina is not helpful in this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Marina should have taken what Jenny said here and been like, okay, you feel safe? Great. You don't want to feel confused and insane, and I'm making you feel that way? All right. Okay, you're drawing that boundary. Like, I am not going to come after you. I'm not going to pursue you anymore. Like, I think that she should have taken what Jenny was telling her and said, okay, but instead she's like, well, do you want to feel safe?
I don't know. I don't know if I like agree, because I would agree if Marina was a man. And I feel like that's going to be controversial. I would agree with that. But when it's somebody figuring out their sexuality, like, yeah, it's not Marina's place to do that for Jenny. I get that. But also, like, Marina knows Jenny's fucking lying. You know what I mean? Marina
Mm-hmm.
knows that Jenny doesn't want this. You know what I mean? Like, deep down. But again, like, that's not Marina's place. I get that. But I don't think her question was out of line. I think it probably helped Jenny, or it will help Jenny, because, okay, you feel safe. Is that the end all? Is that all you want out of life? Are you going to be happy feeling safe in 2 years? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think maybe had she, I mean, I guess probably this wouldn't be good screenwriting. If she had fleshed it out more like that and been like, okay, in 2 years, like,
Sure,
why do
sure.
you want to be feeling, and what do you want your life to look like?
Yeah.
But I don't know, something about the like questioning me of just like, well, do you want to be safe?
Yeah.
They rubbed me the wrong way.
I really get that, because I do think now, especially again, hindsight, I do think Marina is written and comes off predatory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't think it's like intentional. Again, this is like 2004, 2007, something like that. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be sexy, but now it comes off predatory,
Yeah.
you know? So I
Hmm.
think because I watched it a long time ago and I didn't get the same vibes I get now, I'm able to like mesh them. But I love hearing like from your perspective. Like, it's really fun because you don't have that old baggage with it, you know?
What a young sprite child
Yeah, with
comes
the
into.
with our baby over here. Um So the next thing that happens in that storyline is Tim goes to the planet. And I thought it was really
Oh,
funny because he's walking around and he just seems completely oblivious to the fact that he is surrounded by lesbians. There is just lesbians everywhere. And he's just like, I'm just doo doo doo. Like,
uh-huh.
this het white guy, I belong here, whatever, you know. And Marina has him play pool with her. And Tim says to Marina, I'm obviously no match for you. And like,
Hmm.
the level of like codedness here
And
is
he has no idea.
no clue at all. He's just like, no, you're just like, I can't beat you. And we're all sitting here going, oh, is this foreshadowing? Is this what is that's a crazy thing to say given what we know about the fact that she's fucking his girlfriend.
Hmm.
So that was crazy. And while they're playing, Tim's phone rings
Hmm.
and it's Jenny calling. And Jenny is so whack. That's a terrible word. It's like from the 80s, but there is no other word I can use but to describe this girl, because Tim's like, oh, hey, Marina, can you answer it? And she answers it with like her soft, sultry, sexy voice. And Jenny's like, what? Where's Tim? It's like, oh, Tim can't come to the phone right now. He's playing pool or whatever. And she just hangs up. She's so pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, especially because she just had this conversation with Marina of like, get out of my life. I cannot be around you. And then she calls her fiance, and that woman answers the phone. And she's
Which,
like,
like,
what? Can I not get away?
it has to be so hard for that. Sucks.
Mm-hmm.
That does suck because you're like, I'm trying to not think about you. I'm trying to move on, and you're in a space that I would have never thought you would be. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not even her fault. Like, it's not even Marina's fault. You know what I mean?
Oh. Yeah, because
Ugh.
what was Marina supposed to do? Be like, oh, actually, Jenny doesn't want me to talk to her because that would
Exactly.
have opened like a whole can of worms.
Right, because Tim's under the impression that Jenny and Marina are like besties.
Yeah. Well,
Which
until Jenny was like, "Ugh, I just don't like her at the party at the last episode.
true, 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 true. Maybe Tim should have known not to ask Marina to answer the phone then. But he was
Hmm.
very oblivious. He seems like an oblivious dude.
He also looked drunk.
Oh, maybe. I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that aspect.
Hmm.
Probably. So Jenny shows up at the planet, and Bette and Tina are there, and Kit is there, and is Alice there? I don't know. I don't think Alice comes into play here, but Jenny shows up at the planet, and what she sees when she sees Tim and Marina is she thinks they're flirting, which is like crazy to me because Marina is gay. Like, I don't understand why Jenny would think that Marina would flirt with Tim, but girl just passes out. She can't handle it. It's like the Stendhal syndrome, but for a Pisces who's very confused.
Hmm.
And she faints, and I really hated that part because Tim comes in and just like I said, he plays knight in shining armor, and Jenny is playing damsel in distress. And he just like picks her up off the floor and carries her home, and she's like holding his neck. I don't know, it made me cringe. I didn't like it.
Yeah, and then in the bed at home,
Yeah, she's
she very aggressively accuses him of being all up in Marina's business and flirting with each other and blah blah blah. I'm like, what are you trying to do? And he's like, whoa,
he's
you
like,
need to
where is
go
this
to
coming?
bed.
Yeah,
Like,
where is this coming? Because he's not privy to anything that's happening. So he's
mhm,
just so confused. And I do feel for him. That sucks.
yeah.
Uh,
At the same time, also, I mean, they did have their arms like wrapped around each other's waist and were standing like eye to eye with each other, which did look weird. So I could see how, I mean, if it wasn't this like ultra specific situation,
you could think that, yeah.
yeah, but it is this ultra specific situation. So
Yeah. The nuance is heavy here.
yeah. But then Jenny just kind of throws everything out the window and is like, Marina, Marina, hi, I can't resist. The Stendhal
Well,
syndrome has struck.
yeah, but before that, really quick, Tina, who
Yeah.
knows what's going on, is so kind. What a kind heart. Like, I just do think that one of the like defining features of Tina is that she really is just very kind. And she
Yes.
goes over and she says to Jenny, like, hey, like, I can be a friend if you want to talk, you know?
Hmm.
And Jenny's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's a rumor. And I can't believe she would tell someone something. And like, again, like goes off on Tina the same way she went off on Tim.
Yeah,
The
and Bet
only
hasn't even, sorry, and Tina hasn't even said anything. So
No,
Jenny was filling in all of the blanks herself.
exactly. And Tina was just like, okay. Like she was again, just so kind. Just okay, I know that this is not about me. And her reaction has nothing to do with me.
Hmm.
and she'll come to me like when she is ready, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, makes me
Hmm.
really sad.
Yeah, so it's like the middle of the night and she sneaks to go to the planet to find Marina. And she says every time first she says, I can't hurt Tim.
I
And
know.
then immediately, every time I look at you, I feel so completely dismantled. And then
Oh
takes off
God.
her shirt and hooks up with Marina. I'm like, what happened to not hurting Tim? 5 seconds
Right?
ago. 5 seconds ago, you weren't gonna hurt Tim, and now you're literally sleeping with Marina
Well,
again.
okay, hold on, because I have a note on that. Because so her reasoning for not wanting to continue with Marina has nothing to do with herself or her wants or her needs or her desires. The only reasoning she has is about someone else, is about Tim, right?
Yeah.
And I, from my own experience, can very much understand that because like Jenny, I think is also a little bit of a people pleaser. And I don't think you can like not be when you're in a relationship with someone. You just care about them a lot, right? I feel like it's a really common experience to it's easier to do things for someone else than it is to do for yourself. So for her in her mind, Jenny is like, I this will be a better motivator for me is I can't hurt this person that I love, but I don't think that that's ever something that really truly is going to be motivating because ultimately her wants and desires are going to come through. There's only so long you can put that off. And for Jenny, it's like 7 seconds. Um, some of us, it's a, 9 years, but it's all a very common experience to be like, no, 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 I could never do this to someone, but then something else takes over.
Yeah.
So I got that. And I did feel for her in trying to use that reasoning, versus being like, you dumb person.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But also, like, come on, Jenny. Seriously, 2 seconds later, wow. Yeah. And they hook up again. Everyone's just hooking up with the people they shouldn't be hooking up with.
Yeah, they were. It was so stressful. They need to make better choices.
um, that's not gonna happen. I just said, spoiler alert. That's not gonna happen. Um, okay, but can we go to like the cutest part of the episode and the last little storyline we have?
Yes.
Dana and Laura. So the crazy way this storyline opens is apparently it's okay to just walk into a professional kitchen if you are a member at the country club. Because Dana just strolls right in to talk to Laura. And I'm like, is that allowed? Is that
No.
right? The foodborne illness is and all the bacteria she's bringing in there. And I'm just like, ah. And yeah, Lara cuts her finger. And also, I'm like, Lara is not a good chef because she had bandages on every single finger, which means they were all fresh. And I was like, you must not be a good chef because how is that possible? And
Mm.
then Lara's so cute. She says, oh, like, do you want to kiss and make it better? And I'm like, this is the type of flirting that I do. This is the exact flirting I will do, is like where it's like a joke but also like a little bit forward. Where I'm like, it could be a joke, but also if you want to, then I'm in. It makes it really easy to flirt because you can always be like, ah, just kidding.
uh, she got so flustered, Dana did.
This is the exact point where I have it written down that you are Dana,
Yeah, I
where she was
too get
backing
very
into the chef.
flustered.
Like she
Yeah.
backed into that chef and was like, oh, okay. And I was like, that is literally Haylie.
Yep. Stumbling over her words. My first date with my girlfriend, she said that I buffered in real time. Yeah, yeah, it's the same.
That's exactly the perfect way to describe it. Oh my gosh. So they make a date for Thursday. And It's so cute when the group is teaching Alice to stand up for herself, they're also like trying to help Dana pick out what she's gonna wear for the date. And she's like, I was just like gonna wear this like cute sundress. And they're all like, don't do that. That is so bad. That's cringy. Don't wear the sundress. Lo and behold, Dana goes to pick up Lara, and what is she wearing?
A sundress.
A cute little sundress, and she feels so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And Dana's like, no, 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 no. Like I was gonna wear that, and my friends made me feel like crazy for wanting to wear that. And Lara's like, should I go change? And Dana goes, no, you look beautiful. And I wanted to cry. And then Dana was can't believe those words just came out of her mouth and started buffering in real time. And Laura's like, I can fix this. And just kisses her.
Yep.
And it's so cute. And I'm like a full on Dana and Laura stan.
I really like that Dana was willing to ask Lara out in public and go on a public date with her.
She did say though, like, oh, what if someone sees us?
Yes.
And Alice was like, oh, one person recognizes you and now you think you're whatever, right? But yeah, I do give props to Dana. Good for her. It's really hard to watch these episodes again because I know like A, what ends up happening, and like B, that fallout, because I don't want to tell you what happens. But I love Lara. I think she's wonderful.
She was sweet.
And I
I'm
love her
not
Christina Aguilera striped hair, like with the like blocky, chunky highlights. She doesn't like it.
I'm not gonna lie.
You
I didn't
didn't
like her hair.
listen, you didn't go through that period. You didn't live the Christina Aguilera streaky highlight period.
It's
Okay.
true. I didn't.
I did. And I loved it. My favorite music video of Christina Aguilera's is Come On Over. And she has like the same hair as Lara. It's like red with like the blonde. I love it. I know. It doesn't look good now. I wouldn't do it now.
I always wonder, like, people are doing the blonde money pieces and stuff,
I know.
and everyone is like, wow, that's so cute now, but I wonder if that's gonna end up being one of those things that in 10 years we're like, ew.
Ew. I think it's gonna be. I definitely think it is.
Probably.
Never
That's why
die.
I've never touched my hair. One, because I'm scared of damaging it, but two, because I'm like, oh my gosh. If
You
in
do
like
have great
so
hair.
quickly, thank you. So quickly, I'm gonna see pictures from a couple years ago and I'm gonna be like, what was that?
Listen, I started dyeing my hair in 7th grade, and I think I started by going like black. So I have been every single color. I am an avid hair colorer, but I do take really good care of it. So, like, I do hair masks and I try and add moisture and whatnot. But yeah, I can really mess up your hair.
Yeah.
Mostly bleaching. You could do like go a little darker and
Yeah,
not fuck it up.
I rebelled once
Oh,
in high school. And I went with a couple of my friends that were in the year above me,
okay.
and they could drive. And so I
Ooh.
got in their car with them, and we went to the hair salon, and it was behind the grocery store and the bar. And we got $6 pink hair extensions to support breast cancer awareness. And
Ally.
it was like the little tiny one iron-in piece,
Uh-huh.
like one streak. And I got in my hair and I came home and I was like, "Ugh, I'm such a bad bitch." And my mom was like, what did you do?
Oh,
I'm like, it'll fall out in 2 to 4 weeks.
don't worry about it, Mom. Don't look.
Yeah.
Pretend you don't see it.
Yeah.
That's
And then
hilarious.
the other crazy thing I did to my hair is one summer I went through like a real hippie phase where I would not brush my hair. I had so much jewelry on all the time. I wore like patterns and anyway, during this phase I had beads in my hair, like in one section I had a hair wrap and beads in it and stuff.
Oh my
And
God.
it was like on the underneath of my head. but
Okay.
it was in for too long and it turned into a dread.
Uh-huh.
So I, little me, little old me had a singular dread on the back of my hair. And that took so long to get out and it was so painful. And after that, I was like, okay, I guess I'll brush my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ow.
I
Oh,
had to
that's
take it
awful.
out for basketball season so that I didn't get a bead impounded into my skull.
Oh yeah, that was probably really smart.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you went through that.
I felt really in touch with myself.
I feel like I don't know how to respond to that. I need to see a picture of this jewelry dread phase you went through.
I was 15 years old
And so not long ago.
a decade ago.
Okay, but it was almost 2 decades ago when I was 15, which it was 17 years, which brings us full circle to the beginning where I thought it was 17 years. That woman photographed the other woman. Okay, whose storyline are you most excited to see going forward?
Oh, I am just dying to know what happens about Bette's art show
Okay, you'll like it.
and Mrs. Peppermint Patty.
Yes. And Mrs. Peppermint Patty's daughter, who I'm just gonna tell you her name. Her name is Helena.
I was born in Helena.
Oh my God. Okay, here's the thing. I love Helena. I think she's like a like hot British kind of meaner version of Bette.
She's British, but her mom wasn't British, was she?
I think maybe her dad was. She has some kind of accent.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
they'll explain it, I think.
Okay.
Or they'll just let it lay.
Yeah, maybe they just hired a random British actor and was like, this is what you get.
She's so pretty. She reminds me, she's kind of a cross between Marina and Bette.
Oh, you've brought this girl up before.
Probably. I really like Helena. She's not I wouldn't say no, but she's not my type. But she's a little too femme for me. Hold on, I'm gonna show you a picture.
We forgot to say that Kit was drinking.
Oh, I know. I had it in my notes and I forgot.
Oh, she looks like Megan Fox, sorta.
Kind of. Hold on. Oh, that's a good one.
A more square Megan Fox.
Yeah.
She's like Courtney Cox and Megan Fox.
Yes. Oh my God, that's perfect. That's a great description.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's really good.
Coxy Foxy.
Coxy Foxy. That's amazing. I wonder if they've come up with that. Yes, Kit was drinking at the Planet and Tina tells Bette about it and Bette just like rolls her eyes and they leave. But it's a really good foreshadowing of maybe some things to come because we already know that Kit's an addict. So
and she was going through her amendments. That's not what it's called.
amends. You're right.
Amends.
Yeah.
She's going through, unlike the amendments of the United States of America. No, she was going through her amends
Yes.
and was on her path in sobriety, but she's having a sobriety relapse, apparently.
It looks like it. It does look like it. Part of me wants to believe that like maybe it wasn't alcohol. Maybe it was like, like when people at clubs who are sober want to look like they're drinking, but it was a beer bottle. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Wait, so is that the storyline that you're also looking forward to seeing?
No, I just forgot to say it earlier. And I was like,
I was just gonna let it pass, but I'm glad you brought it up. I did have like those were my two notes was Kit's drinking at the Planet and Tina tells Bette.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens with Bette's art show.
Okay.
And that's like my main thing. And honestly, I'm really here for like the wholesome Shane and Alice friendship. And
Oh yeah.
I would like to see what Alice's healing journey looks like and how she overcomes being told that she's desperate and not going to recover from this. Like, girl, how do you respond? Do you rise up or do you sink down? Let's see.
I love that. Yeah, Alice, the thing I love that you have already pegged Alice and Shane's like wholesome friendship because that's like the basis of Generation Q.
Mm.
And also like they host a podcast together. They are like best friends in real life too.
Really?
Yeah, don't listen to it because I
Oh.
think they talk about the L word a lot.
Okay, well.
But yeah, they host a podcast together. They've always been just very good friends, even in real life. I think
Hmm,
that's probably why you notice like all the chemistry that they have.
probably.
So, okay, guys.
Once we stop recording, I have to tell you who asked to be on our podcast.
Shut the front door. Okay, we're stopping right now because I have to know. We love you guys.
Bye,
And
guys!